If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
The question, how can I know the difference between having social anxiety, being introverted, and having Asperger's? Answer by Jackie. Having social anxiety means that one is extremely self-conscious, and they find it difficult to hold a job due to the typical work environment. They can find the idea of eating/drinking in front of others absolutely horrifying. For example, some symptoms are blushing and sweating. Being introverted means that one tends to enjoy solitude rather than hang out with a group of people. They usually find the idea of being alone or isolated more energizing than being around others. Having Asperger's is generally considered to be part of the high-functioning end of the spectrum. Affected children and adults can find it difficult to take part in social interactions and can display a specific range of interests or behaviors that are constantly being done over and over. Not to get confused with autism, people with Asperger's typically do not have any problems with speech and the development of language. Here are some of the sources used to answer your question. What is it like to live with social anxiety? What does it mean to be an introvert? What does it mean to have Asperger's syndrome? Asperger's syndrome. Answer by Seda Terzian. To differentiate, you must consider how debilitating your shyness is for you. Does it impact you in two or more areas of your life, impacting your functioning and getting in the way of your values and goals? It would be social anxiety if you also were avoiding certain situations in multiple areas of your life, and if this avoidance was causing problems for you in relationships, work, school, etc. When you get into neurodevelopment conditions such as autism spectrum disorder, more often than not the issue is related to low social motivation, and an inability to understand social cues, which impact social relations and hence can bring about symptoms of anxiety. With Asperger's, which actually is no longer in the DSM-5, you would also have a history of social difficulties and other symptoms, like neurosensitivities and other cognitive sequelae. I would recommend going in for neuropsychological testing if you are interested and truly concerned about which of these diagnostic criteria best explains whatever set of symptoms you are experiencing, as each would have very different treatment implications. In terms of the questions about introversion versus extroversion, introverted individuals are not necessarily shy or socially anxious. One of the key distinctions between these two are that an introverted person needs time to themselves to recharge and come back to center, while an extroverted person needs time with friends and social engagements to recharge and come to center. An introverted person can be very outgoing and social, even a social butterfly, while an extroverted person can be anxious and highly concerned with their social standing. Therefore, it is really more a question about how you balance yourself, make decisions, solve problems, that determines where you fall on the continuum of introversion or extroversion. Answer by Francesca Bird. Social anxiety, introversion and Asperger's syndrome are all completely different entities. Social anxiety is a diagnosable disorder categorized by psychological symptoms, such as an intense fear of social situations, conversations, judgment, embarrassment, eating in public and others, difficulty maintaining eye contact, low self-esteem and panic attacks, and physical symptoms such as nausea, trembling, sweating, blushing and heart palpitations. This disorder can be controlled by therapy, and in more severe cases, medication for both physical and psychological effects of the disorder. Introversion is a character trait of a considerable part of society, and is not a disorder. Introversion is characterized by a person getting their energy from time alone, unlike their opposites, extroverts, who gain energy from spending time with others. Introverts generally are stimulated by internal thoughts and feelings rather than external stimuli, and are also frequently perceived as quiet, reserved or reflective. Asperger's syndrome is a diagnosable disorder and is an autism spectrum disorder. This disorder is characterized by difficulties in social interactions and communication. Traits of the disorder often include difficulties in nonverbal communication such as eye contact, facial expressions, body language and gestures, a failure to express socially correspondent emotions, repetitive behavioral patterns such as motor mannerisms, and a need for routine. There is no cure for this disorder, but there are ways that people with it can be helped, such as speech and language therapy, emotional support and help with social situations. Hope this helps.